Part of what's unique about climate change, though, is the nature of some of the opposition. Today's Congress, though, is full of folks who stubbornly and automatically reject the scientific evidence about climate change.
So Obama's talking about all of this with the global warming and that, and a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay? It's a hoax.
In weather prediction, and eventually in weather control.
This is a rare opportunity to ask the director of the National Weather Service some questions.
That scientists and researchers are looking at how to change the weather on purpose. That's right. Lasers now could one day manipulate rain and lightning.
Seeded by numerous countries around the globe with various chemicals to produce rain. China was just doing this over the summer in Beijing to make sure that there weren't any rain, that there wasn't any rain during the Olympics.
I went on deadly assignments for my agency and my country, but the higher I got up in the agency, the more I began to see illegal, unconstitutional, sometimes criminal activity that the agency and some other sectors of the shadow government, I call it, were doing things that were illegal and unconstitutional. And I always have to say this.
Luft- und Raumfahrttechniker und habe Flugzeuge repariert und so weiter. Ich möchte euch jetzt mal ganz kurz erzählen, was ich gemacht habe.
These coming out of these islands. They're very small islands, and you can see these frequencies coming out of them because they have this technology there.
All right, first off, I just want to, I know everyone else has said it, but I really appreciate everybody that has come out here today. It's not just showing up and supporting an event, it's actually listening to those of us who are here to share a message. I'm here to speak to you about geoengineering. Well, hopefully when you leave here today, you don't just believe it, you share the information that I'm going to share with you, and you get more people on board to stop this ethical crime, unethical crime.
The Air Force has gotten great value out of HAARP in the past. We took over from the Navy and managed it and actually did a number of experiment campaigns up there and have finished our work that we're interested in doing up there. We've moving on to other ways of managing the ionosphere, which the HAARP was really designed to do.
So I'm not aware of any cloud seeding that was going on for this. I can tell you that in the 70s there was a Project Storm Fury that people started experimenting with seeding hurricanes way out into the Atlantic.
The United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It supersedes every other law in the U.S. criminal justice system and the judicial branch. That's worth remembering. When the U.S. government violates the Constitution, they are committing multiple felonies based on the foundation of our government. We must always remember that.
But all this has changed dramatically with the U.S. military's secretive research and plans to control the planet's natural weather. This has not been given very much press, and we have to remember that we have a corporate-owned press where 85% of radio, television, and print media is owned by 5 corporations. So they're not going to talk about things that are of really serious consequence, and that's somewhat of the blessing, a mixed blessing of the internet, but there's certainly plenty of information on weather modification.
Sonderflughafen Oberpfaffenhofen in Zusammenarbeit mit dem Deutschen Luft- und Raumfahrtzentrum ein Flugzeug mit einer Sprüheinrichtung ausgestattet, was an unserem Himmel giftige Substanzen versprüht.
It would seem to me that you don't frack near a volcano unless you really want something to go terribly wrong. I mean, they have to be doing it on purpose, right? They have to be trying to make these catastrophic events happen. I mean, is that your perspective on it? Or?
You nailed it, that's it. You don't frack a volcano unless you want something dramatic to go wrong.
I mean, lasers? Really? To change the weather?
That's right. Well, as Mark Twain once famously said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer.
managing the ionosphere, which the HAARP was really designed to do, was to inject energy into the ionosphere, be able to actually control it. But that work has been completed. The Air Force has maintained the site for other government agencies to use for several years.
I want to show you a video clip because the first thing people ask me about geoengineering is, who are these people? Who are the people that are, kind of pushing the button to get this thing going? One of them, his name is David Keith. And David Keith has been low in the radar for a while. But he has written a book about climate engineering that has basically done more for the truth movement of this than anything. Because he is the frontline person that is the #1 advocate for geoengineering.
It's covered by clouds, nothing here, and then you see these spindles coming out right from this island. Nothing like that here. We never see this kind of weird spindles and just craziness over here, right? So all of these tiny islands, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see that there's a bunch of little islands here. And from each one, there's some kind of frequency coming out.
So Stephen Salter and John Latham have this thing called the Silver Lining Project. It's marine cloud brightening. They deleted their Silver Lining Project website. Of course, I found that too. So I call it the Silver Lining Project just because they don't like it called that. But their idea is to take sea salt and spray it into clouds to make them whiter and brighter, which will reflect more sunlight.
The people are no longer ruling in our country. The government in a tyrannical form is now ruling the people by subversion, force, and fear. Sadly, that's what we have today.
Well, what I want you to take from this is to understand that I am being completely honest with you, and that geoengineering is occurring, it's been occurring, it is not new, and your tax dollars are funding this. I 100% know that the U.S. Air Force was involved. So I'm not just speaking to all of you in this room, I'm speaking to all those people that are going to watch this online and watch it on YouTube.
Military and some commercial jets have been fitted with huge barrels of at least 49 different kinds of documented chemical poisons. Among other documented ingredients in this toxic man-made clouds are pathogenic molds, fungi, weaponized viruses.
Because you can come forward, you can help expose this, and we can stop it. So many people want to ask why. Why is this occurring? That's for later thought. From weather modification to weather weaponry, there's numerous reasons under Agenda 21 and tons of theories.
Bariumozide, was weiß ich, sind durchsetzt mit nanopartikelgroßen Polymerverbindungen, die sind für euch hochgiftig, also ihr habt jetzt Schutzanzüge zu tragen. Und so viel dazu. Also ich wollte nur sagen,